Hello, welcome to the land of Kakiak. My name is Laurel. Okay, I'm continuing on with the my Copybooks series. This is what I'm doing for like preschool, kindergarten, and maybe even into first grade, but it's my like really simplified way of implementing our curriculum. I know I just made my first Copybooks video, but I actually reconfigured everything to be, because it was landscape. And I reconfigured all my notebooks to be, I was like, let's make them portrait, because I think that just makes them a little easier for people to put on their shelves and to like bind or put into binders or whatever. I don't know why, but I looked at landscape binders. I don't know why they're so expensive. Like they're like 17, 18 bucks for one. I guess because they don't make very many of them. Yeah, I was like, not everybody has, a binding machine like I invested in. And they might like to use these, but the landscape maybe just doesn't work so well. So I was like, I'll reformat it. But then, of course, while I was in the reformatting it, I started like tweaking stuff because I just can't stop. You're like, I could improve that a little bit. Like you notice things as you're using a resource. And so I kind of made some of the tweaks that I wanted to. So I was going to show you really quick. So this is my first copybook. This is the cover. And this was not bound. I just printed out the pages. It'll have, the Dear Parents and Teacher letter from me. And then I did make a curriculum page so you could fill in what subject and what books or resources that you are using with it, that you would be using this notebook as a complement to. I'll show you how I did that for mine when I get to our current level. These are just some blank pages. Okay. And then it starts here, right? It opens up like this, and it's just the alphabet. So it's the same. Everything's the same for this. I just turned it portrait. But I did change the handwriting page because I was like, when you very, very first start introducing the alphabet and you're just trying to teach them the sounds of the letters and like isolation, and they may not even be writing yet. Like we did a lot of flower writing and stuff like that, which I talked about in my last video. But I did put in this pre-writing strokes page instead. I thought this might be more helpful. So you could have them, they can trace these, and then here they can try to do them, on their own, whichever one. You could have them just work on one or all of them. It's up to you how you want to do that. But I thought that might be a helpful thing to have in the very first, this is maybe like preschool or early kindergarten before the writing. And then it's the same numbers. Basically, we're focusing on 1 to 30. And then if they got those, you could teach them 50 and 100. But I changed this. I think it was just a number line, just the number lines. But I put in the build your numbers here. So let's say you have number flashcards. Oh, speaking of flashcards, each one of these notebooks or copybooks comes with a file that also has flashcards. I didn't give like just basic number flashcards, but they all have, so this one comes with just the ABCs. Each card has upper and lowercase on it, and they're little, so it makes them, sometimes it's nice just to have smaller flashcards. During this phase, I used the Learn Your Letters set, which I think I showed you in the last video. I talked about this level, but it does come with little ones, and I actually do like to sometimes take like an envelope and like glue it in to something, and or just always have the whatever cards we're using just on hand so I can grab them together. They're this size. Everything's like that size. So it just makes them really easy to use. But anyway, sorry, back to numbers. So this page, like if you had like number flashcards, if you didn't have them, you could just write some on index cards, right? Write your numbers out. It says draw 3 number flashcards and put in the correct sequence, and we have them put smallest to biggest in these 3 spots, and then build your numbers using a favorite manipulative. So we loved number rods for building, like number sense and building numbers with them. But you may have like, I know the people use those counting bears, or even just like pennies, right? You could represent the number with a stack of 10. So you drew, 11. You could do a stack of 10 pennies and 1. And then you could also teach it at the same time that 1 penny is equal to 1 cent. But anyways, but then you could build them there just so you have that concrete representation of numbers. Then, oh, of course, this page is the Read Me a Story. You pick a story to read aloud of your choice. I showed you my favorite one in the last video. I'll link that video down below. And then this is just a blank page for whatever. If you're doing anything extra with them, you can record it here, or you can have them do any activity and like paste it into here. Anything that you want. It's just, I wanted an open page daily. And then it goes back to the next day. You start over with your phonics practice again. Okay, so I just wanted to show you those quick changes to the first level. And then the second copybook, the squirrel one, looks like this. And I'm going to link another video for you down below because I went through all the books I'm using with this level. We just finished this level actually with Bo. And it took about, I don't know, I think it only took about 2 months. And so again, here's the letter. And here's the curriculum page. I forgot to print these ones double-sided, so again, so you can keep record, because I find that I'm usually using something's changed in what I'm using with each level. So, or if not, you could just keep writing the same thing. Just a blank page. Blank page. Okay. Then you would have it, if you printed it correctly, it would open up like this. Right, and here is the first set of graphemes or phonograms that I would be focusing on in the alphaphonics progression. So I wanted to start teaching them the alphaphonics, going through those. If they're using alphaphonics with this, that'd be perfect. I'm actually using 100 Easy Lessons, but I'm just teaching them. We go over this, and it's not getting in the way of what they're learning. He's learning in 100 Easy Lessons. And then words to practice them, we do a lesson from 100 Easy Lessons, and then whatever, right now we're just on letters still, so whatever sound writing they would say to do, so you had them write A's, we would do A's, or C's, or, it's usually like 2. Okay, and then the next section, right, is math. So this one has 1 to 100 chart. Again, our favorite game to play was Race to 100. Then we started playing Race to 1, where we started on 100 and subtract and go back to whoever got to 1 first, 1. And then I did tweak this page. I made this part whole, right? So you could start with whatever number. Maybe you roll dice, and you get 5 and 2, and that equals 7. So 7 is a whole, 5 and 2 are the parts, or whatever. Or you could start out with a number, whatever you wanted to do. There's so many things you could do here. And then some equations spots, so you can write in some, and you can make your own number line. And I did teach greater than less than at this stage. So this is for, maybe you roll numbers or draw flashcards or something, and then have them write in the numbers, and then have them do the greater than, less than symbol in here. So this level came with flashcards for this set, and it came with all of the math fact flashcards that I included. So level 2 had a bunch of flashcards with it, but you could use them, all the way through. But so I'll show you. I printed out the different flashcards for the phonogram stuff on different colored paper, cardstock. And you can see sometimes I made notes on them as we worked. You can do whatever you like. When something sometimes was 2 letters that made 1 sound, I'd underline it and put 1 dot to show us 1 sound. But yeah, that's what those ones look like. And I was using Number Stories Book 1 with those 2 levels. And then the next section was just the Read Me a Story section, right? You read them or read aloud. You might ask them to tell it back to you, or ask them what was the story about, and see what kind of answer they can give you, just talking, and then have them draw their favorite part, or copy a picture out of the book if it's illustrated. And again, just a blank section. I did because there was a whole money section on here for at this level with the Number Stories Book 1. So I found a bunch of free worksheets, on a coin worksheets online. And so there was a long section, and you'll see it if you watch that video, it's in the description box, but where I just pasted and put those, like cut them out, the work he did on those worksheets, and just pasted them in. Okay, so those are the changes to those 2 levels that I wanted you to see. So what are we on now? Right now we just started My Third Copybook. It says reading, writing, numbers. So this one's bound. This is the one he's using right now. Okay, so every day, I just have his stuff on the shelf. I grab this, and I grab these 3 envelopes right now. So these are his phonics flashcards. So we have the previous set, the pink ones from level Copybook 2, because we still review those. And then we have a new set from the third copybook. So I printed those in blue. And I'm just slowly adding in, like right now, I usually guess that one right, but I might do a right pile, wrong pile with these at the beginning of the week to see if he misses any of the review ones. And then I add those, the ones that he missed, into the batch that we are focusing on for his new ones. And I'm just slowly adding them in. I don't start drilling him on the whole stack right away. And this is what we use to warm up. We usually go through these. Or the other thing we've been doing is, I think I showed this in a previous video, but you can just make like a spinner. And I just use like a single sheet, laminating thing I got at Walmart. Not like a machine kind, just like the sticky kind. And then I just keep a dry erase. And then, I can just write the blends or whatever that we're working on. Nch, unk, unk, right? And then he likes doing that. I keep putting my own hand in the way, right? And just whatever one is closest to. And then I can keep track of the ones he gets right or wrong in our little sheet in here if I want to. But anyways, that's just another way to kind of add a game element and keep things more fun. I did write these, put numbers on these in the corner just so I would know what order I'm introducing them in. Now I've kind of got them messed up. We'll go back over those. Anyway, so I'll just keep, always keep the review, and as we go into the new levels, I'll just keep adding to the stack. But they're just in their own envelope. These are, I did the same thing with the flashcards I was talking about for all the math fact flashcards. And they are color coded too. So he's in the +1, -1, +2, -2. I've got those like mixed up together in here. And those are the ones we just do a couple every day. We're trying to just get him familiar. At this level, I'm teaching him to learn the abacus in the third copybook. Oh, and this says answers because sometimes they all had their own little cards, right? They just had answers because sometimes I line some out and he gets an equation and then he has to find the answer and match it up to build the equation. Do you know what I mean? All right, so those are always on hand. Let's look in the book. I just write he's in kinder. In the curriculum for reading, we're using Teach Your Child to Read in 100 Easy Lessons. So we're still continuing on. I think, what are we in right now? We're in lesson 43 he's gonna do today. So we probably got to about through lesson 40 when we started this one, I would say. And then for handwriting, I'm just saying, teach your child to read 100 easy lessons in the copybook. So for handwriting, I'm really just having him, we do the sound writing component. They tell you what letter to practice writing. Then that's what I'm referring to. We just do it straight in the book. Social studies. Oh yeah, we were doing level 2, we were doing the Berenstain Bears Big Book of Science and Nature, but we finished that and I showed you the science activities that we did with it in that video in the description box. So now we are moving on to kind of like social studies, because I'm required to do social studies and science in kindergarten in my state. So I've got America the Beautiful and Where in the World. So these are the books we're starting. He really likes buildings and stuff. I bought a set of little miniatures. I just keep them in a jar in here in the cabinet. But so we can there's a pyramid, Eiffel Tower, right? It's kind of bent. Big Ben, right? Anyways, there's a couple, like Taj Mahal. So we have sets of these, and he actually really loves getting these out and playing with them. But we're gonna look them up in here. Like, look, there's the Taj Mahal right there, and then we can learn about it. And then America the Beautiful, of course. So kind of starting closer to home. I think we're going to cover like, this book first, and we'll just see what we're inspired to look up or do or any, or just to read. I feel like this is what I usually, science and history is where I'm usually going to go look for a video, maybe a short video or something like that to supplement, or maybe just some kind of worksheet or project. I don't know. I'm a really open and go person. So I do a certain amount of planning ahead of time, but for this stuff, I'm not overly concerned as long as we just read the book. I think he'll enjoy it. It's got these really thick, I don't know, cardboard almost pages, so it should be pretty durable. It's short and sweet, anyways. And then I think we're gonna branch out more to the world. We might look at a globe, look at maps together. Anyways, math. We have just started Number Stories Book 2. I believe this is in the public domain also. I bought an old original copy. And we love this one. It's, I love that it's kind of based in story form for them. And it tells you at the beginning all the things that they'll be going over. But yeah, so this is Betty and Bobby, and it has a story, and then the stories have math kind of lessons or concepts that go along with them, and kind of logic. So this one was kind of logical, which I liked. And then we just do the lessons, the stuff kind of right into the copybook. So we're not super far into this one, but he loves it, and he loves the colors in here. It does get into money, and you can see it goes all the way into just formal, equations. But yeah, this is such a cool resource. I love it. Okay, so this is going to take us all through kindergarten for sure. And then, the abacus. So we are focusing on the abacus. I actually have a whole playlist. If you don't know how to use an abacus, because I had to learn. I wanted my kids to learn, but I had to learn first. I'll link my playlist. I have a whole playlist on how to use the abacus for the, our 4 operations. Oh, and of course the flashcards. We're using those. And then read aloud. The read aloud I'm choosing for this book is from the My Book House series. It's volume 3, Up One Pair of Stairs. So it'll have shorter one, this was such a cute one. Shorter stories or poems, and then slightly longer ones. But yeah, we've been really enjoying this book. You get to learn things about other cultures too through story, like brownies. I think brownies are a Scottish kind of folklore. Okay, so that's the curriculum. Every day I just grab, the stuff is all on the shelf. I just grab the stuff, make a pile, and then to the left of us, and then we just open up his book, and we just start going, right? So sometimes I'm just making check marks. Sometimes he's finding. I'm find what says ang, right? And he might circle ang or trace it or something. Sometimes I'm just giving him a flashcard drill. So I'm just checking them off that those are the ones that we did that day or whatever. Then we would do 100 easy lessons. We do it here. Sometimes it's half a lesson. Sometimes it's a full lesson. Just kind of depends on the lesson. And then he does the sound writing, and I just use a gray highlighter to write it in. I like him to do trace one, write one, trace one, write one, right? So he does that, and then he circles for me what he thought was his best one. This is an example of a math day. We did the tall and short from the Number Stories book. 1, I think we were just finishing it. It was the very end, page 139. And so I just numbered it and put Y for yes, N for no. And I read him the question, and he would answer, and he would circle the correct answer. Yeah, I'm not totally sure what we were doing here, but anyways, I just had him write the answer in, right? And I love to see those stars as they get them correct. And then we did math facts. So this day we just pull, I've just been going through the math fact problems. So the ones that he's on. So I'm trying to just teach him how to use the abacus. Let's say so I'm just like going through these just like, so you can just do like one a day. So this day he got 12 minus 2. That was the problem we pulled from here. And then I just follow like A. So the abacus starts here. So I just want to show them that all the beads are lined up to the left. So when let's say he's got some answers, some kind of answer over here, and I'll say clear your abacus, he knows just to do that, to go back to 0. And then it says, draw on the starting amount and write the figure in blank. So he started with 12, right? So right now I'm having him just do it this way, 10, 11, 12. Eventually we would do 1 10 and 2 1s, but I haven't switched him over to that quite yet. So he did 12, right? So he drew on 12, 10, there's 10 and 2, right? And then he wrote 12, and then he wrote minus, and then he wrote the 2 beads he's taking away. He drew them, and he wrote the 2. And then, I had him, he did that. So they took away 1, 2, and how many are left? 10. So he drew on the 10 that were left, and he wrote the number 10. So then we checked it. It says check your answer on the number line. So he made a number line starting with 1, to 14. We started on 12. And we ask, okay, if you're taking away, do you go to the left 2 or to the right 2? He would say like to the left. Take away 1, take away 2. Landed on 10. You can see he circled his answer. And with the check marks, like, do they match? Yes, they match. Then we taught him how to put it into a math fact triangle. So now you're going to it's kind of like part whole, right? You put the base number on top, the answer 12, and then 10 plus 2. And then we just went through the equations that makes, and we checked them all. So we wrote them in what the triangle was telling us, but then we checked them all. We verified on the abacus. And if they matched, made a little check mark. Anyways, he actually loves doing math. He asks to do it. He doesn't want to do reading. He wants to skip reading. He wants to do the writing part, but he doesn't want to do, he kind of like lately has been like, can we do math? Isn't that funny? Anyway, so then once we got through 10 minus 2 or whatever, I just put it in the back, and we go the next day, we'll have the next one. And if it's a day where like it was just reading the story and we didn't really do a follow-up, something, or if the book moves on to a concept I don't think he's ready for yet, I might just pause and just do more math facts with him on the abacus. Okay. Then we went on to read me a story. So we read The Elf and the Dormouse. So it's a story title. Again, I just use a highlighter. I write in the title, and then he traces it. And then he draws me pictures what happened first, then, and in the end. So we're trying to get him to understand sequencing of events. And this is easy to do because there's a lot of illustrations in kids' books. So a lot of times there's a picture that kind of goes along with each one of these stages for him to pick from. So that's what he did in this one. He basically copied 3 pictures from the story, but in order. So that was good. And then we didn't do anything. We took a field trip to Pucker Butts. Pucker Butts, so South Carolina is, I want to say my husband's into hot sauce, but he was saying, I think the guy who developed some kind of pepper, I forget, really, really hot pepper. He makes his own hot sauce, and he has a store, like not that far from where we live, called Pucker Butts. And while his cousin was in town, they wanted to go to that store and like load up on hot sauce. That's what the boys wanted to go. So this day, I said, okay, that's your field trip. You're going with your dad and his cousin to Pucker Butts. So I just wrote that in. But this would usually be the page that I would do whatever we were doing for, social studies, since that's what we're focusing on. Then that's what I would either record it on this page, maybe even just write down what pages we read, or sometimes I have him just do like something like a scissor skill. Like the other day he did scissor skills. I just had him cut out shapes and tape them in just to practice his hand-eye coordination and all that kind of good stuff. And then you're done for the day. You just move on to the next day, right? Anyways, this is a day we were playing with the spinner, and I won. I got, shocker of all shockers, I got the most phonemes correct. But anyways, that's just, and then we're just going to keep working our way through, you know, until we're done with this one. Now, if I feel like I'm mostly going off of the phonics component, if I'm going to move him on or not, because we can always just keep adding more math facts, right, to our pack, because I have those all printed out. They're actually all in their own individual envelopes right now until I add them into the big envelope. You know, I want to make sure he knows all of these blends and things before I move him on to the next book. So this is actually, the reading component is more what I am, or phonics component is more of what I'm using to set his pace as far as like the books go. Like if he like knew all this, understood all this, then I would, and we still, say we still had like, you know, this much of our book left, I would consider the math component. Is he ready to move on? In the math component, like does he have the abacus mastered? So then I may consider moving him on to the 4th copybook. But I've only got 5 copybooks, and I expect them to take him all the way through kindergarten. You know, we did start preschool. We did do preschool. So I know a lot of homeschoolers aren't doing much formal learning, so they might be starting stuff like this more in kindergarten, so it might take you well into 1st grade. But yeah, this is just simplifying my life so much. It's just open and go. And then I have samples of all the work, and it's just so neat and tidy. If it's on my shelf, I don't have to like wonder. The kids know what's expected of them. They just, every day they just, you know, turn to the next day. We just keep a bookmark. We just keep going. Then when everything's done at the end of the day, I just do this, right? I just put everything back on the shelf. All done. Well, I hope that was helpful. Check out the description box for helpful links to other videos and resources that you've seen in today's video. And don't forget to like and subscribe. All right.